The room fell silent the moment the security guards stepped in front of the tired-looking father. "Sir, you need to leave," one of them said firmly. Every head in the crowded graduation hall slowly turned toward the man standing near the back row. He wasn't dressed like the wealthy families around him. His suit was old, slightly wrinkled, and his work boots still carried dust from a long shift. In his hands, he held a small bouquet of flowers he could barely afford. But what happened next shocked everyone in that room. Because 10 Navy SEALs suddenly stood up at the same time. And within seconds, the entire graduation ceremony changed forever. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below telling us where you're watching from. Welcome to Kindness Unlimited, where powerful stories remind us that one act of kindness can change someone's life forever. Daniel Harper had spent most of his life working hard and staying invisible. At 38 years old, he worked 2 jobs in Norfolk, Virginia. During the day, he repaired heating systems. At night, he cleaned office buildings downtown. Life had not been easy since his wife passed away 6 years earlier after a long battle with cancer. Since then, Daniel had raised his son, Tyler, completely on his own. There were nights when Daniel skipped dinner so Tyler could eat more. Winters when he wore old coats so Tyler could have a new one for school. He never complained. Not once. Because Tyler was his entire world. And now, after years of sacrifice, Tyler was graduating from one of the most respected military academies in the state. Daniel had counted the days for months. The ceremony was being held in a massive auditorium filled with proud families, decorated uniforms, cameras, and flashing lights. Wealthy parents arrived in luxury cars. Expensive suits filled the front rows. Daniel arrived quietly after finishing an early morning repair job. He looked exhausted. His hands were rough from years of labor, and his old jacket no longer fit properly. But his eyes were full of pride. He clutched the bouquet tightly as he searched for a seat. When he finally spotted Tyler sitting among the graduates, his face lit up with emotion. "That's my boy," he whispered to himself. But before he could sit down, 2 security guards approached him. "Excuse me, sir," one guard said while looking him up and down. "This seating area is reserved for families and guests." Daniel blinked in confusion. "I am family," he replied softly. "My son is graduating today." The second guard frowned. "Sir, we've had problems before with unauthorized people entering events like this. We need you to step outside." A few nearby guests began staring. Daniel's face turned red with embarrassment. "I have an invitation," he said quickly, reaching into his pocket with shaking hands. But one guard barely glanced at the folded paper. "You need to leave now." The room grew uncomfortable. Some people looked away. Others whispered quietly. Daniel swallowed hard. He had faced difficult moments before, but this one hurt differently. All he wanted was to watch his son walk across that stage. That was it. He slowly lowered his head. "Please," he said quietly. "I worked very hard to be here today." At that exact moment, a deep voice echoed from the middle rows. "That man isn't going anywhere." The entire auditorium turned. One man in a dark navy suit stood up. Then another. Then another. Within seconds, 10 large men rose together from their seats. The energy in the room instantly shifted. The guards froze. The men walked forward calmly, their posture sharp and disciplined. Though they wore civilian clothes, there was something unmistakable about them. Strength. Respect. Brotherhood. One of them stepped beside Daniel. "You know who this man is?" he asked the guards. They shook their heads nervously. The man smiled gently. "This is Daniel Harper, the father of Tyler Harper. And years ago, this man saved my life." Now the room was completely silent. The Navy veteran turned toward the audience. "My name is Marcus Reed. I served as a Navy SEAL for 12 years. During one deployment overseas, our unit returned home injured and broken. Most people thanked us for our service and moved on." He looked directly at Daniel. But not him. Daniel looked stunned. Marcus continued. "Every Friday night for nearly a year, Daniel volunteered at the Veteran Recovery Center where several of us were being treated. He fixed broken equipment, brought food for families, sat beside soldiers nobody visited." Another SEAL stepped forward. "When I lost my leg," he said quietly, "I pushed everyone away. But Daniel kept showing up. He drove me to therapy appointments when even my own relatives stopped calling. A third man spoke. When my marriage fell apart after deployment, Daniel watched my daughter every weekend so I could rebuild my life. The audience sat frozen in disbelief. These elite military heroes were standing beside a tired single father in worn-out boots, and every one of them looked at him with deep respect. Marcus turned back toward the guards. "You judged him by his clothes," he said calmly. "But this man has done more for veterans than most people in this room combined." One of the guards looked ashamed. "We didn't know," he murmured. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. He had never told Tyler about any of this. To him, kindness wasn't something you bragged about. It was simply something you did. Then came the moment nobody would ever forget. Tyler suddenly stood from the graduate section and walked directly toward his father. The ceremony paused completely. Tyler reached Daniel and wrapped his arms tightly around him. "I've always been proud to be your son," Tyler said through tears. "But today, I finally understand the kind of man you truly are." Many people in the audience began crying. Even the guards lowered their heads. Then something incredible happened. The Academy's commanding officer stepped onto the stage and spoke into the microphone. "Mr. Daniel Harper," he announced, "on behalf of this Academy and every veteran whose life you touched, we would be honored if you would take the front row seat reserved for distinguished guests." The entire auditorium erupted into applause. Hundreds of people stood to their feet. Daniel looked overwhelmed as the Navy SEALs escorted him to the front row like a hero returning home. And for the first time in many years, Daniel realized something important. The kindness we give quietly still matters. Even when nobody notices. Even when nobody applauds. Because kindness leaves fingerprints on people's hearts long after moments are forgotten. Later that evening, after the ceremony ended, Tyler asked his father a simple question. "Dad," he said, "why didn't you ever tell me you helped all those veterans?" Daniel smiled softly. "Because, son," he answered, "people shouldn't do good things for attention. You do them because someone needs help." Tyler never forgot those words. Neither did the people in that auditorium. And maybe that's the lesson we all need today. You never truly know what battles someone has fought. The person standing quietly beside you may carry a story full of sacrifice, pain, and love. So choose kindness. Choose respect. And never judge someone by what they wear or how tired they look. Because sometimes, the strongest heroes are the ones nobody notices at first. Thank you for watching Kindness Unlimited. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who still believes kindness can change the world. And remember, one small act of kindness can echo farther than you'll ever know.